It's my privilege and honor to present a recap of today's progress over the last 12 months. And my goal is to provide you with insight into several of the company's financial metrics, the year's highlights and accomplishments, and then conclude with an opportunity for you to ask any questions you might have. While my comments will be brief, I'm confident that as you reviewed the annual report package, you gained further insight not only to who we are as an organization, but the continued good performance and strength of your company. 2025 was indeed a special year in the life of PCB. Turning 100 or being in business for 100 years is truly something to celebrate, and celebrate we did. Starting with events across our footprint and culminating with the big birthday party on October the 4th, 2025 in Franklin, everyone in the communities we serve had an opportunity to celebrate with us. This slide and the next displays a snippet of these events. Also, I hope you had an opportunity to look through the annual report that also reflected back on the year's events. This year's report, while reflecting on 2025's performance, also highlights the many events and accomplishments throughout the year. We would not be here today celebrating our success without staying true to our vision, mission, and core values. Our vision hasn't changed over the years and clearly sets our path and is a roadmap to guide our mission. That too hasn't changed and is the catalyst for our mission statement, which sets forth how we accomplish our vision. By the end of this presentation, coupled with your review of the report, my goal would be that you would conclude and agree with me that we have met our mission by focusing on customers, team members, and community. Accomplishing our vision, however, would not be possible without adhering to our four critical core values: utmost integrity, customer-driven, team member-focused, and community-centered. This is a familiar slide, but one that hopefully gives you a snapshot of the year. As before, I will discuss several of these metrics later in the presentation, but first, let's hit on the highlights. We continue to see steady growth in terms of assets and reaching a year-end total of $815 million, up 5% over 2024's level. Loan and deposits reflected a 9% and 5% growth respectively. I'm especially excited to report on net income improvements in 2025. I'll speak more to the net interest margin improvement later in the presentation. However, this improvement, along with continued balance sheet management, paved the way for record earnings for the company. Net income for the year was $7.2 million and up 41% over the previous year's performance. This income performance provided more retained earnings that grew regulatory capital by 10%. Finally, as you look over the 5-year horizon, all metrics are reflecting positive trends, an indication, I believe, of our continued financial health as a company. As we stated, we continue to enjoy steady growth in loans and deposits during this year. On the deposit side, competition for deposits waned, and we were able to grow deposits during a time when deposit costs were falling. This was a welcome relief after the past several years, and we were able to grow deposits by $33 million at a lower cost factor. Loans grew by $53 million, and while originations were at lower yields, the combination of deposit cost savings, loans repricing at higher levels than at their origination, and loan growth provided for improvement in our net interest margin. Last year, I stated, the combination of loan growth, reduction in FHLB borrowings, and deposit pricing allowed for net interest margin improvement in the last half of 24 and will continue into 2025. This was truly the case. We continue to see less pricing pressure on the deposit side of the balance sheet, which directly enhanced the margin. This, coupled with further reduction in FHLB borrowings and the reasons I just cited, led to an improved net interest margin to a level of 4.03% at year end. We have traditionally set 4% as our low end of the margin target, and ending the year at 4.03% was a welcome sight. After previously navigating the organization at such lower levels, I have always said, we live and die by the margin. Movements both positive and negative in the net interest margin will impact earnings. This year's margin improvement played a substantial part in the year's record earnings of $7.2 million, or, as reflected earlier, a 41% increase over 2024. If turning 100 wasn't reason enough to celebrate, posting this level of earnings and improvement definitely was a reason to celebrate. Historically, we have included return on assets, or ROA, and return on equity, or ROE, in the presentation. Both metrics are important gauges of how we have performed. ROA is a measure of the return we provided on the assets we have deployed, and ROE a measure of how well we have provided a return on your investment or equity, with the numerator in both cases being net income. As income moves relative to asset and equity levels, the numbers will show fluctuations. I am happy to report that we were able to improve both ROA and ROE in 2025 versus 24's level, and the ROA metric is coming in close to a desired level of at least 1%. I believe, based upon 2026 performance year to date, we will continue to see improvement in this metric and will surpass the 1% mark at year end 2026. As we further examine the return on your investment, you will note that we continued on a path and goal of consistent dividend increases. I was pleased to announce 2025's dividend per common share of $2.60, which was a 12 cents per share increase, or 4.84% improvement over 2024. Another component in determining stock valuations is earnings per share, or EPS. 2025's performance increased this metric by $2.54, or 41%. These two elements, along with the last reported share price at year end of $84 per share, bodes well to portray the company's financial health and performance. We all know that the world around us is changing, and I believe there are a couple ways to look at change. Not changing is, in fact, change, just not managed change. And if you're not changing or evolving, you're actually negatively changing relative to the industry around you. This is the case in the financial world. As such, we are committed to evolving to meet the needs of our customers. To that end, we introduced a couple of new delivery channels to enhance our service levels. First, we deployed ITMs, or teller-assisted transactions, at an ATM. This new service provides the opportunity for customers to enhance their banking functions at an ATM or ITM during regular and now extended banking hours, while allowing us to deploy additional service locations and further expand our footprint. Another customer convenience we added was a true online account opening platform. Now, current and potential customers can open and fund an account at PCB at the time that is most convenient to them. Finally, we opened our 15th financial center in Summersville, West Virginia in early 2026. This location connects two of our markets together and provides an opportunity to introduce PCB's brand of banking to Nicholas County. These new delivery channels position us well for the future. However, regardless of how high-tech and shiny these new options are, we cannot and will not sacrifice our personal, high-touch approach to banking that has made us who we are today. I reflected on our core values earlier. One of the 4 values is community-centered, and I believe this slide says it all. Since our humble beginnings in 1925, we have always believed in giving back and making a difference. This year was no exception with regards to both the contributed dollar and contributed time. In 2025, we supported 200 events and helped 350 organizations through our financial contribution of $270,000. I am especially proud of our team members who unselfishly invested 5,065 volunteer hours into their communities, truly living out who we are as a company and doing what community bankers do. This slide, as in the past, shows how well we have fulfilled our mission, enhancing the value of your bank or your investment. I trust by comparing the 2021 and 2025 per common share metrics from net income per share's increase of $2.99 or 52.46% to last reported market prices 16.67 improvement of $12, along with the others, you agree that we have. I often talk about PCB's brand of banking and the customer's acceptance of our model. They say the best judge of how you are doing is hearing from others, and as in previous years, we did by their votes. Recognition as being the best or as a finalist in the categories of Best Bank, Best Customer Service, Best Mortgage Company, Best Ag Lender is both humbling and rewarding. Coupled with being recognized as the best place to work, these recognitions tell the story we like to tell and would not be possible without our incredible team members. Thank you for all you do. Obviously, the past 100 years has seen a significant change in our organization and industry. In last year's annual report, we outlined many historical events and new delivery channels and services. Rather than recanting these, I'd like to segment our history into a shorter time horizon and one that I am personally familiar with. On October the 16th, 2000, I was given the unique honor and opportunity to lead Pendleton County Bank, as it was known then, into the 21st century. I was asked to move the organization forward to meet the future. Having just opened our Moorfield office and first branch location in 1999, the bank's total assets were $124 million. Our total asset journey over the last 25 years reflects growth of $690 million to 2025's year-end level of $815 million. To accommodate and promote this growth, essentially a 556% increase in size, we naturally had to expand our footprint and number of locations, which grew from 2 to 15, and we will be opening our 16th location in Daniels, West Virginia in late 2026 or early 2027. Looking further into this growth, total deposits have increased from $104 million to $699 million at year-end 2025, or total growth of $595 million or 572%. On the other side of the equation, total loans have grown from $77 million to $676 million, representing a growth rate of 778% or $599 million in increase. Finally, in keeping with accomplishing the end result of following our mission statement, shareholder value or net income on an annual basis increased from $1,235 million in 2000 to 2025's record earnings of $7,176,000. Truly a result we can all be excited about and reason to celebrate. I am also extremely proud that we have been able to increase the share price from $20 in 2000 to a level of $85 per share based upon the most recent sales at year-end 2000 and 2025 respectively. This represents a 539% growth. multiple of 6.38 times, and a compound average growth rate of approximately 7.7% without consideration of reinvesting dividends. This number increases to approximately 8.5% to 9%, and total return reaches 700% when factoring reinvestment of the dividends. I believe these results reflect very favorably both with the Dow and the S&P 500's performance over the same horizon. As we comprehend these numbers, one must understand this clearly demonstrates the hard work each team member has made to accomplish these great results. Results that could not make me prouder. I thank each one of you and the support of the directors have provided over these past 25 years. Looking forward and based upon the direction of 2026 year-to-date performance, I'm confident the future is just as bright as the past 100 years. With that being said, I would like to announce today that after 54 years as a community banker and almost 26 years as CEO of PCB, I will be retiring from this position effective July 13th, 2026. I want to thank everyone again for your dedication, trust, support, and sometimes patience as we navigated history and our journey. It's been my honor and a privilege to serve you in this great organization. Serving these years will remain a highlight of my professional career. I am happy to also announce that while I'll be stepping down as CEO, plans are for me to remain a member of the board of directors and strategic advisor to ABI's or Allegheny's board. I will tell you, this decision was not easy, however, one that I have been preparing for, or we have been preparing for several years. Chad?
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Directors, it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to recognize and thank a truly remarkable leader as he begins his retirement after more than 25 years of dedicated service to PCB. Over the course of his career, Bill Loving has done far more than simply lead this institution. He has helped shape its identity, strengthen its foundation, and guide its growth with steady leadership, integrity, and vision. Under his direction, our bank has grown into an $830 million institution, a milestone that reflects not only sound business decisions, but also the trust and confidence he earned from our customers, employees, shareholders, and the communities we serve. I've had the privilege of working alongside Bill for the past 12 years. During that time, I've been seen firsthand the countless hours, difficult decisions, and unwavering commitment he brought to the bank each and every day. His leadership was never solely about the numbers on a balance sheet. It was about people, relationships, and building an organization that would remain strong for generations to come. Through changing markets, economic challenges, and periods of opportunity, Bill consistently provided calm leadership and thoughtful direction. He led with professionalism, humility, and genuine care for both our employees and our customers. Because of him, PCB is stronger, more respected, and better positioned for the future than ever before. Perhaps his greatest legacy, however, is the culture he helped create. One grounded in trust, accountability, service, and commitment to the community. Those values will continue to guide PCB long after today. Bill, on behalf of the Board of Directors, our shareholders, employees, and the communities we serve, I want to sincerely thank you for your dedication, leadership, and friendship over the years. Your contribution to this bank cannot be overstated, and your impact will be felt for many years to come. We congratulate you on an outstanding career and wish you and your family happiness, good health, and many blessings in retirement. You have certainly earned it. Please join me in thanking Bill Loving for his 25 years of extraordinary service, leadership, and commitment to PCB.
Thank you, Chad. Wow, kind of hard to follow that. As you know, we previously separated the role of Chief Executive Officer and President. This move was intended to plan for succession and a smooth transition when the time presented itself, and apparently it has. Since that time, Neil Hazlett and I have worked together to ensure the organization's operations performed as we desired, and the strategic direction was on course. Just as excited as I am with how we have evolved over the years, I am equally excited to announce that the Board of Directors has selected Neil Hazlett to become Chief Executive Officer effective July the 13th, 2026. Having worked with Neil, I'm confident that he will continue to lead Allegheny Bankshares and PCB on a very successful path forward. Neil, congratulations on your new role, and you have my full support. I would now ask Neil to join me and offer a few words. Neil?
Bill told me I only had 60 minutes for this.
That's actually 6, Neil.
Oh. Better get out the time then. Just a little background, and there's a purpose for this. It's not about me. I've been in banking for 42 years. Started out right out of Bridgewater College with a bank that doesn't exist any longer. They're part of the Wells Fargo franchise at this point. And then I took a little side trip into public accounting after going to grad school at JMU. And when I went into public accounting, I worked for a Harrisonburg firm that audited, at that time, Pendleton County Bank. And so my first introduction to this bank was 1992 when I was sent over to do interim loan review. Never worked on the year-end audit here because I went to other year-end audits, but I came over a couple times to do interim loan review. Also worked on Pendleton Community Cares audit a couple of years before I ventured back into banking, became a CFO at what is one of our Virginia competitors, and then went through some other administrative roles. Eventually took early retirement there, came here as a consultant, and now here we are 6 years later, working full-time and enjoying it so much. Now, why did I give you that background? I give you that background to say that when I reviewed 40-some years of banking and or accounting, plus some part-time jobs in high school and college, I think I've had about 20 supervisors, and that comes from trustees of a church cemetery to facilities managers at Bridgewater College, partners in public accounting, branch managers when I was a very young banker, and I think 4 CEOs counting Bill. And I just want to say that I've never worked with anybody better than Bill Lowe. How do I want to say this? We don't always agree. I may be a little more aggressive, he may be a little more conservative, but we've done well to meet in the middle. And the thing that I most respect about him is even when we don't agree, he's always respected my opinions, he's always listened to my opinions. And at the end of the discussion, we've gone forward on one path. So I appreciate that. When the board invited me down to the board meeting and offered me the position of CEO, and they said Bill was going to be staying on as a strategic advisor to the board, I said, does that mean I get to call him too? And they said, yes, you can call a friend. So, board, I want to thank you for the confidence that you placed in me. I pray that I'll live up to it. It's something I've aspired to, and something that I hope I'll be able to do with honor and the dignity that Bill has shown, the culture that we have here. I want to echo Bill's comments about the staff. We have a great staff. I think it's more like family than it is co-workers. So I want to continue that. Last thing I'll say, my wife Donna, we've been together 37 years. We've known each other 42 years, so that ties into the initial. But there's some would say I'm outwardly confident, maybe a little too much at times. But she's seen me when I've doubted myself, and she's always been my biggest cheerleader. So thank you. And with that, I hope we'll, one last comment. I don't think I'll be staying here 26 years from now. My exit swan song. Liable to go through this again, but not quite 26 years from now. But I'm looking forward to what we can accomplish the next several years together. So thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Well, as they say, you save the best for last. I want to thank my lovely wife, Cindy, for her support. 54 years as a community banker, and August this year, 50 years of being my wife. So thank you for how you supported me. And with that, are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You've done a fine job, son.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the retirement.
Thank you.
Move the meeting be adjourned.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There's no vote for no. I'm sorry. Thank you all so much and have a great rest of your day.